Sir, INS Viraat, the erstwhile HMS Hermes, you commanded the then only aircraft carrier of the Indian Navy.
So Virat came to us at a time where it was a second-hand ship. At that particular time in the 80s, these are mariners. While on Virat, in fact, we had the first carrier-to-carrier exercise, and our boys performed miraculously. The reason for this is, it is the man behind the machine. We had got a ship of Second World War vintage, so we have optimally utilized and gave professionally whatever we wanted. She was fully operational. And why was she operational? This sort of a performance, we are getting a lot of offers from all navies. For us, they are not weapons of war fighting, but they are weapons to prevent nuclear blackmail and nuclear coercion. Our deterrence has to be credible.
You've seen the integration, right? All the three services. How do you see that we've progressed from maybe there was some kind of a dependency potential to us being Aatma nirbhar and creating a place for ourselves on the international diaspora? You must have seen this. How was this growth happening?
These are all hand in hand. We have to not only make arms and ammunition, we have to export them. Our industry has to come in a big way. Like today you have Lockheed and Raytheon, everybody. We should have those. That revenue will come to us.
You were awarded NM Gallantry. Can you please narrate the incident?
What had happened was,
Commodore commanding submarines. The Submarines West also is based out of there.
Future leaders have to be, bold. Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. Then I went to Djibouti to exercise with the French Navy. What the nation expects of us, rewarded, satisfied, gratified when they go back home. Take a challenge in the Navy, join it, you will not regret it.
Hi guys, welcome to this another bone-chilling episode of Roger That with NKC, which I am releasing today on 4th of December, Bharatiya Nausena Divas. This episode is very special to me and it is very close to my heart. And why it is very, very special to me? Because the guest today on the set is very special. Today I am sitting with Vice Admiral Surinder Pal Singh Cheema, Param Vishish Seva Medal, Ati Vishish Seva Medal, Nausena Medal Gallantry. Welcome to the set, sir.
Thank you, Nikhil. Thank you. Delight to be here.
मैं ऑडियंस को ये भी बता दूं कि एडमिरल चीमा वाज माय CNC व्हेन आई वाज flag lieutenant and then I was taking over command of immediate support vessel squadrons, and that's when he was leaving service, and I had a supreme honor of bidding adieu to him when he was on my ship P-23 INS Abhay, and the local flotilla was bidding adieu to him. The traditional way when we give the last salute to our commander-in-chief. Welcome to the set, sir.
Thank you.
How do you like the set, sir?
Set is excellent, Nikhil. Your sense of involvement and love for the uniform pushed me to come here. And seeing that in a young officer who's left the Navy, he holds moral values so high, he holds the uniform so high, I thought I must come. So, sorry for this rush visit, but I had to come, and you are trying to put it on the Navy Day. That makes my participation even more special. Thank you very much.
The team Roger That with NKC is deeply grateful for making this happen, sir, to you. So let's start, sir. What motivated you to join Defence Forces, NDA? What changes did this bring to your personality?
I never had a second option for a career. My first, second, third options were armed forces only. It may have varied between Army, Navy and Air Force depending upon whom I have come across. But I had never doubts that I want to join the armed forces. I wanted to don the uniform. I studied in a Sainik school. That's why I went to Sainik school, so that I could get closer to the armed forces.
What Sainik school was this, sir?
I was Sainik school, Karnal, Kunjpura. Okay. So what was happening was, we used to have old boys' day there. And I would see our seniors who've passed out. They come back from NDA in the NDA uniform. It was such a mesmerizing sight, such an impressive sight, such a motivating sight. I said, this is one, thing which I want to do. And I joined NDA. Lucky to get selected, joined NDA. And mind you, I have no armed forces background. There was nobody in my family from the armed forces. And I'm from an average middle class family. But joining the NDA put me into a different league. And joining the NDA and the journey in the armed forces. What I have become today is because of the training in NDA, because of the training in academy, which all young boys get, as well as my service life. And this walk of life is very honorable, very exciting, very purposeful, and at the same time very challenging. But I loved every moment of it. And what I have become today is courtesy to the uniform, it courtesy to the training, it courtesy to the grooming which I got in the armed forces. As I said, all of us come from different backgrounds. We are not exposed to it. You come into the service, you see people, you emulate them. So that is what changes you. And the service provided me a host of opportunities. I commanded best of the ships, best of men. That time ladies were not there. When we were there, just about coming, I would say just best of men, best of teams, and traveled all over the world. Met virtually who's who of all the armed forces, interacted with them at sea. And that is one aspect. And now today, when I have retired from the service, my armed forces family is my bigger family. It's such a big support system. So the armed forces and the NDA does not stay till the time you're in service. It goes with you. And so I have had a good innings. And if somebody were to ask me that, or give me the option to do all over again, I would repeat exactly the same thing. Join NDA, join Navy, and choose the same path. I've got no regret. In this life, in next life. So I personally feel God has been very kind to put me into this.
So you were at the helm of the erstwhile Naval Academy at Mandovi, Goa, the Mandovi, which is now today's NSWTTC, where the Marcos get trained, and we have other two schools also. I think the PT school, another one.
War College is also
War College is also there, sir. So, how did you shape the future leadership of the Navy, sir? What was your vision? How different is the military trained manpower from a civil specialized manpower?
See, this was a very gratifying job, and I got it quite early. I was a young captain at that time. And to be given the responsibility of shaping the future of the Navy, virtually shaping because the officer corps passes through there. I had to go with very many sets of emotions and considerations of a teacher, of a guru, of a strict discipline enforcer. And I would say to some extent like a father also. It's all put together. Yeah. It is not one thing where because you're dealing with human beings who are sensitive. And we have, people coming from all strata of society, some with strong mental backup, some with not so strong mental backup, some from good economical background, some from not so good economical background. So what you have to give there is basically you have to make them physically, mentally, and morally you have to make them strong. It's all three put together. It's not one activity. And this is, see what happens is, this is a very satisfying job. Like today, if you take today's child, the parents can't really push and inculcate all these values in that child. But as an outsider, when he's come of the academy, he's in the academy, he or she is competing with each other. Over there, you can shape them, you can put them through a little bit hardship for their larger good in the long time. So that is what you can do, that is what the academy does. It forces you in an acceptable manner. It doesn't become in a way where it is not, it is unpalatable to the child, to the young girl or the young boy at that time. Basically, one is you give them top academics because we are a very professional Navy, a tech-intense Navy. So you have to give them high degree of technical qualification. You have to make them physically tough Because if you are not physically tough, it's very difficult to stay mentally tough also. This physical, mental toughness go together. First, at some stage, you have to have the physical toughness. And this physical toughness and mental toughness which you go through, over the years, your body may degrade, but you still have it. So that is why whether you are in the uniform or outside the uniform, this instinct, this, I would say, resilience in individual stays. And that is why, I remember when we were in NDA, we had Rudyard Kipling's If put in front of us.
Yeah.
So, and like when I was in the Naval Academy, one thing which used to dawn my mind, to make them officers and gentlemen.
Yeah.
To turn them into officers and gentlemen. So basically, to become wholesome, you got to have the personality to be working from one end of the strata to the other end. You could walk with the common, you could walk with the kings, but you keep your composure. You are neither ruffled nor overawed, nor you feel too elated about yourself. That is why what we see, we used to last in OLQ, officer-like qualities.
Yeah.
Actually, these are the values which you want to ingrain.
Yeah.
It is immaterial who you are. Officer-like qualities means what are the finer qualities you have. I must have some values. None of us are born with all the qualities, but we must keep telling ourselves, I have to improve this. I have to become better in this. He's like this. I should become better in this. So this is what grooming and instilling value is. And the government spends hell of a lot of money on grooming, educating, teaching the young child which they want to be the future of the country's security.
Yeah.
So they invest a lot. Government spends a lot.
Yeah.
These academies spends a lot because each of these things cost a lot of money. Then only you groom. That is how he could be for anybody. All strata of society are brought to the same level. That is why you say OLQ.
Yeah.
So when we do the selection, we have the basic selection parameters that academically you must be here, this must be your psychology, all these things. But thereafter, the service takes it on that we will make you a wholesome individual. Yeah. And this is what, molds your personality, it gives you confidence, and you can stand up.
I remember seeing the Rudyard Kipling's If poem, sir. It's there in the hallway of 12 SSB here in Bangalore. And like you rightly mentioned, sir, I would like to just twist something and ask here. You were on that side of the table, somebody who's accepting the candidates who the SSBs have recommended. So I'm on this side of the table. Like I served as the youngest GTO in the history since 1947. So I am looking at certain parameters, and then you are taking those candidates to train them. So I am looking at a minimum acceptable level, which the academies can accept, and then we can train them. So today, like you rightly mentioned, that it's a very tech-savvy force. Navy is a very tech-savvy force, and armed forces in general, all three services are moving towards tech-savviness. So today, what would you recommend to the boys and girls who are looking for a career in the Indian Armed Forces? Or even if those who do not know, but still want to look for a career in the Indian Armed Forces? And let's say today, if you were to be on a ship at the helm, at the command, what would you want to see in that young officer who would be serving under your command? What would you want to see in today's Gen Z and Gen Alpha?
See, what happens is, when the entry comes, we have to pick from the same society. We cannot escape a society. Good, bad, ugly, that is the society, and we are part of the society. We have to take the ownership of the society. I cannot say that, you only give me this crop. I take anybody, as long as your basic education, your academic qualification, your physical fitness, and your psychological aspects, which is evaluated, they are there. Rest, we take the ownership. Once an individual joins, a boy or girl joins, it is our responsibility, the service's responsibility to groom them. And the grooming doesn't finish only in the academy. The grooming in the armed forces continues right till the top, till the last day you go.
So, sir, what would you recommend to the boys and girls who are looking for a career in the Indian Armed Forces?
Without second thought, I'll say join the armed forces. You join anything, Army, Navy, Air Force, but I personally feel Navy has got a great future, and having spent a long time in Navy, I would recommend the Navy. see what is happening. Our Navy is poised for a huge growth, huge growth. We are going to be a developed country by 2047 Viksit Bharat. That is inescapable. Our economy will grow. And along as the economy grows, the defense also grows along with it. Other aspect which I want to highlight is, till now, when we were not developed, our focus was solely on land borders. We could only see up to there. We have never exploited our ocean wealth. We have got a EEZ of 2.1 million square kilometers. And if you take the continental shelf, which is about 1.2 million square kilometers more, it comes to roughly about 3.2 million square kilometers, which will equal to the land borders, And then we have got a coastline of about 7,516 kilometers, which touches 9 states and 4 union territories. That is one aspect. That is the sea wealth we have got, which we possess today. The other aspect which we have to keep a track is, today 90% of our trade by volume and 70% by value goes over sea. And this 90% and 70%, the value of this is going to be increasing as we grow up in stature economically. So there is no escape for us but to guard, respect, and exploit our seas. It's a huge ocean wealth. Blue economy is the order of the day. Countries are looking for sea wealth. We have got that 3.2 million square kilometers. We should add it to the growth of our economy. And whatever trade is coming, whatever travels overseas, that's of concern to us. Indian Ocean, whether you see during the colonial period, was always the center of security activities for trade to function. We are right at the heart. We are blessed to have this geography. And, so when in this sort of a situation, the Navy perforce will grow. And having been in the planning and all the stages, the number of ships, submarine, aircrafts which are going to come, mind-boggling. I have seen them when this piracy was going on. We had put our ships into right at Gulf of Aden. And the merchantmen, the DG shipping and all was so thankful to the Navy. And the Navy would provide security. And that is why even when the piracy was at its extreme, because of the Indian Navy, the merchant shipping was moving closer to Indian coast for security reasons. So that is the standing of an Indian Navy today. And if we are going up to 5 trillion, 10 trillion, 15 trillion, our value will go up. And so in that particular case, we will be having far more platforms. And we are already delving into space, cyber, AI. All these are happening things of the Navy of today. So anybody who specialized in any field, and it could be, say you want to become a hydrographer, or you want to become an ATC controller. Anything you want to do, it is an ocean of opportunities, as the Navy says that.
Yes.
It's an ocean of opportunities. And, I would say that there could be many people, बच्चे बोलेंगे मेरे को पूरे 20 साल 30 साल नहीं करना है, हो सकता है. They want to come for a short service. Even those officers, those boys and girls, I would say, please come and join the Navy. Arm yourself with a personality, with a capability, and with a mindset where you can do you can walk with the crowd, you can walk with the kings. You can hold your sway. So I have seen that people who leave the Navy, they do exceptionally well. It's only a question of an opportunity to be given to them. But once they are seen, they are given the opportunity, they are in a commanding seat very soon. Yeah. Whether it is operations, whether it is logistics, whether it is high-value projects, or whether it is tech and non-tech program management, everything is taught to us. Yeah. We do everything. See, to do a big management course is thing. But if you go through the armed forces, willy-nilly you are doing all these steps all over. And we also have in our training curriculum, we also deal with a whole lot of management principles. We deal with them and they're taught. So a officer's personality, even a sailor's personality is made wholesome. That is why I am yet to see anybody who has gone out and who's not done well. So what happens is, while you go out of the Navy never goes out of you.
Yeah.
It remains in you.
Our forefathers have set the bar very high.
Yes. Yeah. And that is the strength of you. Yeah. And I have, met many people in the corporate world who have taken naval officers. All these big firms, now the naval officers and men are in big demand. And particularly now with, armament industry coming in, Atma coming in, we would be going into this sector in a big way. We would not only be making arms and ammunition for ourselves, we will be exporting. So the opportunities are plenty. So I would tell any boy or girl, even to their parents, please invest in the armed forces to encash a fully bloomed and groomed child. Yeah. This would be my advice.
Yeah, but we are not going to lower our standards, and this coming out of the mouth of a gunner. Let me tell the audience, Admiral Cheema is a long gunnery specialist, and all throughout his life, he's just been around missiles and missiles and missiles.
Yes.
Yeah. Sir, why was the mention in dispatches awarded during Op Pawan, which is the LTTE and IPKF operations? Where were you serving, and what's the story behind this?
Actually, what had happened was I was posted in Cochin at that particular time. So when the things were heating up in Sri Lanka, so I was summoned to Madras. And we had to support the logistic chain of the army particular in Sri Lanka. So, that time, so I was mainly working with army as well as loading some things on the naval ship also. So we were sending all sorts of vehicles. We used to load the ships in Chennai and take them to either Trincomalee or Colombo and offload them. The naval ships were going to Kankesuntarai also. So we were doing that, and then at one particular stage when the fighting really increased, we were required to send armor, tanks. That became a little bit of challenge because it has to go in good time. So I remember there was this gentleman called Colonel Anil Kaul, who was the CEO of the, I think, Armored Regiment or something. So they brought in a whole lot of tanks to the Chennai harbor. We got merchant ships, but the tanks, we tried to, tank is not a small thing, very heavyweight thing. So we had to make the contraptions, we had to take utmost precautions, and then we loaded the tanks in record time. I think we were working at one particular stage for nearly 48 hours non-stop.
This was in LSTLs or HEMS?
No, this was in merchant ships.
Okay.
See, because tanks couldn't go in, LSTL will take one limited number of tanks. Over there, we require tanks in large number, in one go. In one go. So that is the time we tried to do this, that let's load it on merchantmen where we can load it in one go, whole lot of this thing. So we loaded, we were nearly 48 hours we spent non-stop, we loaded them. And I was with the army at that time, and it was a big achievement that time, a big achievement. In fact, I would remember that I've got a very good incident that time. So one day when we had loaded the tanks and the ship was supposed to sail in the morning, we were supposed to sail. So I was walking in the Chennai port, I saw Colonel Kaul standing in his jonga with his hand inside the jonga. Side में जो होता है ना, उसके through his hand was inside. So he said, Cheema, what's happening? You are looking totally tired. So I just pulled his leg. Yeah, we were loading at tanks and all. So he said, what can I do for you? I said, my boys are tired. So before I pack them up, I want to give them a tot of rum. So as soon as I said rum, he takes out from the jonga, he takes out his hand like this. And he says, you could have asked for the moon, you could have got it. So his left hand was inside. He takes out of the rum and gives it to me. Thereafter, I went with the ship to offload the tanks we had carried all those gear, what we had done in Colombo. Colonel Call went off for the operations there. And maybe a few days later, Colonel Call was back in the hospital with his fingers lost, his eye lost. So when I went to him, the first thing he had told me, he says, I wish you had something else from the hand. This hand you were the last person to be given anything. So, that sort of a thing. And it was a great evolution. It was great working. And I would say, working in a tri-service environment, which I have done in a number of appointments, is very thrilling. And for me, getting award, this mention and dispatches was given to me by Army. And Navy had recommended me for Nausena Medal. So that time somebody, asked me, kya hai? Probably Army and Navy, I do not know somebody. I said I would go for a mention in dispatches. Not that I would have, no, I was too young to be given option. But still somebody, I said I still would like to get the mention in dispatches.
Sister service, no?
And coming from an Army, and mention in dispatches is a very rare award. It's the second, I would say, lowest gallantry award by the President. Yeah. So it was a very special, and it means very special to me. Yeah. In the spirit of the tri-services joint mention.
And also, I don't think, sir, we have seen any other, I have not come across many other mention in dispatches in the Navy.
I have known one or two, but not very many people.
Very rare.
Very rare. See, in the Second World War, post-Second World, mention in dispatches was a big honor.
Yeah.
So...
it was a big thing.
Yeah.
Sir, you have commanded 5 frontline warships, including a foreign warship. I think one of them is INS Nishank, which I think you got from Russia. Then Mauritian Coast Guard OPV, which is Vigilant. Then the missile corvette INS Khanjar, the K class. And then the stealth frigate INS Trishul. And our beloved aircraft carrier INS Viraat. Sir, please tell us how one command is differentiated from another. What are the challenges? Because सारे अलग-अलग जहाज है और आप गनर हो और हर एक जहाज का अलग-अलग रोल है. But how is one command different from the other?
Getting a command of a ship is the ultimate dream for any naval officer. And I would say only few branches can get the command, but whether it's command of a ship or a shore establishment, command is a command. So it is the biggest honor the Navy can bestow you, your destiny can bestow you. You've got to be, your destiny also has to take you somewhere. The powers to be also have to, this thing.
Correct.
So while it brings a lot of honor, it also brings a lot of responsibility and a lot of challenges. Because you are handling men and material and going the harm's way. In a naval ship, even in peacetime, the environment in which you operate is very hostile. So we got to go to the harm's way at all times. So it is a challenge. And we run ships for a long time. And when you are at sea, you could be a sub-lieutenant or a lieutenant, which you were when you commanded the ship. So obviously you would have realized that when you are at sea, there's nobody to look behind. You have to give an answer. If there is a flooding, if there is a fire, if there is a pump failure, if there is a generator failure, you have to answer. So that is where the challenge also comes. So the size of the ship is immaterial, but command is a command, and the best blessing I always count. The other aspect is, the Navy has got a very systematic way of grooming people. That's what, when I was sending a message to the people who are joining the Navy, you may not, one must not feel that I am not equipped for it. I am not ready for it. The Navy prepares you for everything. Like as I said, I came from a common average household. I had no experience of the armed forces. It is the armed forces, it is the Navy, it is the academy which taught me how to go about. And similarly, responsibilities are gradually increased in the armed forces. My first command, though one has served on a whole lot of other ships, my first command came in 1989 when I commanded Nishank. And that was 56 meters. The size of the ship was 56 meters. And what the Russians call it, raketny kater. It's a rocket boat. So it's a missile boat. So it's a rocket cutter. And my biggest command of INS Viraat, which was 226.5 meters, came in 2005. So there's a gap of 16 years. So these 5 ships which I commanded, they were spread over 15 years. So in between, you are being, you're growing in maturity, you're growing in stature, you're growing in confidence. So that is what it takes you to go there. I was flag lieutenant to Admiral Awati as a young sub-lieutenant in 1979. So I will give you an example. For example, this is the Admiral's room. The flag lieutenant is sitting outside.
Yeah.
And the Admiral is sitting inside. I was sitting outside in 1979 and I became a fleet commander in 2008. So when Admiral Awati came to see me in the office, so he asked me, he says, Surinder, how many years did it take you to cross the wall? It was a very good question. It took me 29 years to cross from that wall to come inside. So that is the type of, I would say preparation the service does. And of the 5 ships which I commanded, I was fortunate to commission 2 in Russia. Nishank was commissioned in Poti, state of Georgia, and Trishul was commissioned in St. Petersburg. So, and the 3rd ship which I commissioned was for the Mauritian Coast Guard as a commanding officer, CGS Vigilant. That was commissioned in Chile, Talcahuano. So this is a type of mix one has had. So one has been very fortunate.
And you've scanned the length and breadth of the globe, I would say. Russia, Chile, I don't know, what all places.
Yeah, in fact, I must share with you, since you raised this, Nishank, I came through the Mediterranean. I came through the Red Sea. I came through the Red Sea, and then Suez, and came here. Trishul, I had gone first to the Scandinavian countries, then rounded the Cape of Good Hope, visiting all the countries on the western coast of Africa, and it took us 3 months to come. So it was, the naval ships go for flag showing. Flag showing is a very important mission of diplomacy. Though a ship goes to another country, it's flying Indian flag. So that is the Indian territory. Yeah. That is the Indian territory. And I have seen the diaspora, when they come to visit the ships, they are so emotional about seeing the Indian flag. It's a matter of pride for them. And we have, it gives a good sense of feeling from the naval point of view to get your, countrymen on board and make them feel honored. It's a big thing. So that one, and Chile, I got from Talcahuano, which was on the west coast of South America, cut through the Strait of Magellan, cut Cape of Good Hope, and then Mauritius. So these were the different routes which one took.
Yeah. Sir, it's a very rare honor to command a foreign warship. I mean, a warship that belongs to a different country, like commanding the Merchant Coast Guard ship CGS OPV Vigilant. The men are not Indians, but the commanding officer is an Indian. And that's foreign blood under your command, sir. So how challenging it is to meet the organizational goal and objectives because the blood is not Indian?
I was seconded to the government of Mauritius. From 94 to 97, I was the ComCG of the Mauritius Coast Guard. ComCG means you're commanding the Mauritian Coast Guard, executive command of the Mauritian Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard is the only maritime force they have. So you're commanding that, which a handful of Indian officers and rest all Mauritian. And Mauritius has got a huge EZ. It's a huge sense of responsibility. So I was on deputation to the government of Mauritius. And to command their men, to command that country, it was, again, it was very gratifying. But it is also a great sense of responsibility that my view was that I owe allegiance to that flag at that time. I did not want to be found wanting for my loyalty or my professionalism, me and my team. So we worked and we really endeared to. So all Indians who go there, they are really held in a very high state. So you, while on one hand you are an ambassador of India, representing your country, your navy over there, on the other hand, you are a local Mauritian owing allegiance to that flag. So I went to accept that ship in Chile. So I was actually on behalf, me and the full crew, Mauritian crew, Indian crew, there was 4 Indians and rest all were Mauritian crews. So we took the ship from Chile. Actually the ship was also a little bit of a, I would say quite a mix of things. The ship was designed by Canada, built in Chile, for the government of Mauritius, manned by a crew of Indian and Mauritians. So it was a very, I would say, a good mix of things. And we came through, the seas were very rough, we passed through the Straits of Magellan. And it was, a delight to work with the Mauritian crew. They're very professional. I would say they are very well-meaning. They're friendly people. They're friendly people. And even today, we have got strong ties with that country. See, what had happened was I was commanding the Coast Guard. So rather than getting more people to command, they asked me, can you command? I said, okay, I'll command the ship also. So it was not my charter initially. So we went with the crew and got the ship from there, and Prime Minister Naveen Ram Ghulam commissioned it. So, and the commissioning warrant which was signed by him is still held with me, the copy of that. Original was with the ship. It's my prized possession. And as luck would have it, I think our cooperation and friendship with Mauritius is increasing, and today they are good partners in the security domain.
Sir, INS Viraat, the erstwhile HMS Hermes, you commanded the then only aircraft carrier of the Indian Navy, which housed the then fighter aircrafts, Sea Harriers, the vertical takeoff and landing. It got commissioned into service, I believe, during the Second World War. And after that, it was mothballed. Let me tell this to the audience. Mothballing का मतलब ये होता है कि आप जहाज को बंद कर दो completely, सारे systems बंद कर दो, उसको decommission नहीं कर रहे हैं, सारे systems बंद कर दिए, कुछ दिनों के लिए बंद रखा है, उसके बाद में फिर से start किया है. So that is mothballing. And then it was brought back to service during the Falkland War. Sir, running such an old ship which is as old as 50 years with so old engines, with aircraft operations also. And let me tell the audience that I have had another fighter pilot also on this set who has carried out VTOL operations, the Sea Harrier operation on the same aircraft carrier, must have served with Admiral. What runs in the mind of a captain of an aircraft carrier, sir?
I would talk about what Virat gave to us. See, Virat was launched by Lady Winston Churchill. And probably she would have अगले जन्म में भी आगे चले होंगे, but Virat still continued to live.
Yeah.
That was what Virat was. It was commissioned in the Navy in May 87, and we finally paid it off in March 2017. It rendered human service to the Navy. Carrier operations is a very big art. It takes generations to keep it going. So Virat came to us at a time where, it was a second-hand ship. At that particular time in the 80s, we could not afford to buy a brand new ship. We could not. So we got this, and it had Harriers, Sea Harriers, which are vertical takeoff and landing. It had Seeking 42 Bravos for anti-submarine operations, mainly. Later on, and Elliots. We also operated Ka-31s from there. We also tried to operate whatever new brand of helicopters we were getting, including our ALH. But operating the Harriers was, I think, I would give a lot of respect to the fighter pilots. See, what happens is when you come to land in a Harrier, since it lands vertically, you have to be at an optimal weight. So, if you have excess fuel, because you land vertically like this, it's a short take. VSTOL is vertical landing, short takeoff. There is a ski jump which gives you attitude for the fighter to take off, though it not build up the speed, but it builds it up. It's a small, the overall ship is 226 meters. So how much runway can you give? So you give that and then it comes and lands. Now when it lands, before it comes to land, it has to be of a particular all-up weight. So it pumps out the extra fuel and all. So if you miss out, either you have to go for a diversionary landing or you have to ditch. So that is why after serving on this, I have really developed a lot of respect for our fighter pilots. To land and take off from a carrier requires a lot of gumption, lot of guts, lot of professionalism. And it is not only, in our Navy, I have operated on other aircraft carriers also. While on Viraat, in fact, we had the first carrier-to-carrier exercise. And our boys performed miraculously. We had, I think, 7 or 8 fighters, and we match sortie to sortie with Nimitz. Sortie to sortie. And they, at the end of the exercise, Malabar exercise where we operated, that the first time carrier-to-carrier operations were taking place. They had no hesitation to say that we have operated with you with extreme comfort. We had no problems whatsoever. We were, in fact, one of the flight deck officers said, we had more comfort in operating with you than sometimes we have even with NATO ships. So that was a big remark to come. So first time when we, operated with Nimitz, it took some months of preparation. We finished Nimitz, Malabar. Thereafter, Ronald Reagan was coming. I was going to Vizag. So then we, Naval Headquarters decided that we should exercise with Nimitz. So we operated with Nimitz in a matter of months without any preparation. That is the type of confidence Virat left on the US Navy. That is the time of confidence. Our fighter boys, our ship's crew, and all helicopter pilots and all the other operations, as well as the maintenance of the ship, which had no problems in machinery. So we matched them, and then we operated with Ronald Reagan unannounced. Then we operated with Charles de Gaulle, which had Rafael, this thing. And in all this, we had the opportunity of flying on their aircraft, whether it is E2C, whether it is F-18s, or whether it is, Rafales. Our pilots got to fly, and we got to evaluate what sort of jets do have. And in fact, it is a report of 2015 where the boys who had flown, we found that Rafale was a great jet. With that time, 2005, not 15, 2005, when we operated with Charles de Gaulle. So my view is each ship has a soul. Each ship has a soul. These are mariners' belief, like a cricketer. Yeah. He'll go to his changing room, he will sit only in one place. They're very superstitious. I also believe that ships have a soul, and Virat had a very rich soul, very rich soul. And the reason for this is, it is the man behind the machine. We had got a ship of Second World War vintage. Our officers and men who maintained and operated the ship, my view is they're best in the world. I have no doubts in my mind. So when we say we matched these advanced navies, it is courtesy the man behind the machine. And it is courtesy the best practices which we have in the armed forces. Not only Navy, it's in the Army, Navy, Air Force. I think the Indian mind, the Indian psychology is very good at making optimal utilization. So we have optimally utilized, and she gave professionally whatever we wanted. Yeah. Like in my time, I took her to, we went to Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. Then I went to Djibouti to exercise with the French Navy. Then I did Malabar. Then I also did with the French Navy. She was fully operational. And why was she operational? See, my predecessor, Admiral Chauhan, he was commanding that ship. He gave a very good refit. Very good refit. So I was in command for 1 year. She was on the trot, 365 days. There was no, except for mandatory boiler washing, the routines which you had to come. We came to harbour. And it is because of this sort of a performance that, we realized that we are getting a lot of offers from all navies to exercise with us. In fact, we reached the stage where it was ACNS IW Ops, that we could not afford to exercise more with the navies because we are too constrained out. So this is the professionalism which our boys and officers bring in. See, if you see Viraat, with each refit, she became better. And we were saying that this young lady is just flowering. And she could have continued for a few years more had the Harrier jets not run out. We ran out of spare parts of Harrier and it was becoming difficult to operate. So Viraat aircraft carrier is, cost-intensive platform. So we did not want to keep it just, for the sake of it, since the jets were running out. And that is when Vikramaditya came. But one message which I would say is that keeping the art alive of carrier operations is very essential. It takes, generations to reach that, procedure.
So what's the complement of Virat? What was the?
It used to, when all the squadrons are embarked, it used to touch to close to 2,000, 2,500.
And you are the old man.
You are the old man. You are the old man. This is the best tradition in the Navy. A captain could be a young lieutenant or a lieutenant commander. It's called the old man.
He's called the old
man. And he could be a lieutenant. It's still called the captain.
Yes.
So these are the good traditions of the Navy.
And
because the captain is a ship.
Yes. Captain is the ship, sir. Very rightly said. Everybody falls back on you.
Yeah.
Everybody. So, sir, on a lighter note, sir, do they really have those kinds of old compartments in which you have some Queen ke time ka liquor and all still stayed?
No, there was plenty of liquor there. No two ways. The liquor was there, but there was a cellar which had a lot of liquor from the British times. So there were compartments with a large number of compartments. It was virtually impossible to visit all compartments.
So in your command tenure, sir, let's say you would have not even gotten a chance to go to all the compartments. Was it?
I tried, but I do not know how successful I was. I think I used to treat it as my morning workout. So go to the full ship, go visit all compartments. So duty ka duty, workout ka workout.
Right. Okay, guys. So I want to tell you that Admiral Cheema is the only officer in the history of independent Bharat amongst all three services to have served as C Commander-in-Chief 4 times. So one is he was C IDS, Integrated Defence Staff, Chief of the Integrated Staff Committee. He was also at the helm of Strategic Forces Command, SFC. Then he was Southern Naval Command, the training command of the Navy, and then the Premier Operational Command, the Western Naval Command, from where he hung his boots and swallowed the anchor. So let's start with the first CNC appointment, sir. Chief of Integrated Staff Committee, something like the US Forces Chairman Joint Chief of Staff Committee. You had an entire headquarters of Integrated Defence Staff under you. What is the major role, responsibility of this organization, and what did you have to do?
India has been reformatting the functioning of its armed forces in consonance with the times and the technology. Earlier on, wars were localized, so each service could fight an independent war. But now with technology coming in, the expand scope of the war with the technology has expanded far beyond imagination. So IDS headquarters was a step in this direction for tri-services integration. So at that particular time, though IDS had been in some time, because this idea of integration has been picking up. So that time it was intelligence, ops, training, and acquisitions, capital acquisition. These were being handled. But slowly, I think the armed forces have been becoming more wiser and smarter, where we have started integrating far greater. For example, now space, special forces, information warfare, cyber warfare. All these are common domains. These cannot be, left only to a independent service. So it would be in our interest to optimally utilize our resources and go for a bigger punch than rather going into penny pockets. So this is what the IDS has been doing, and it is a good experience. I would recommend all officers to be rooted through tri-services organization, because what happens is it is a very good exposure to see the functioning as well as where the shoe pinches the other service. Because if we have to integrate with each other, we must know where the shoe pinches the other service. Other service must know where the shoe pinches us. We must know what their typicalities are. They must know what our typicalities are. So IDS is that, I would say, setup which started integrating. And this subsequently led to the long pending demand of a CDS. Today, IDS headquarters under the CDS has got a far greater role. So, it has virtually become a component of MOD and service headquarters. And I think we are doing some fantastic jobs. Even the impending theaterization, which is going to be a next step forward towards making our forces more potent, more homogeneous, and would also stem out of the IDS headquarters, which is under the CDS now. CISC still remains, CISC is still there, but I would say it has become far more responsive, far more active, and far more, I would say, in control in doing of things. And it is for the betterment.
Sir, you were the CNC of Strategic Force Command. Tell me something about SFC and what are your views? What's the status of our nuclear deterrence, sir?
Okay. See, like HQIDS, SFC is also a tri-service command. And I am a great propagator of tri-service integration because we can really optimally utilize the resources. The strength of SFC is the synergy, camaraderie between multiple agencies. See, it is not only that the military component is involved here. You've got scientists, you've got bureaucracy, you've got political leadership. So it is operated at a much bigger scale. It is operated at a much bigger scale. The synergy over here is, I would say, a big force multiplier for us. A big force multiplier. And what has happened is, over a period of time, all the three legs of the triad have been given equal importance, due impetus. And I would say full marks to our scientific committee and the military men who combine and the political leadership that we really have done well in this domain. You take our weapons, you take our sensors, you take our platforms, you take our infrastructure. As a country, we have really done well. Now, you asked me the question of where is the deterrence. See, India has got a doctrine of no first use. For us, they are not weapons of war fighting, but they are weapons to prevent nuclear blackmail and nuclear coercion. Having said that, our deterrence has to be credible. And as I said, you see the platform, see everything. I, as an Indian, feel very assured and very proud of what we have achieved. I would say our deterrence is fully credible today. Fully credible today. In consonance with our doctrine, in consonance with our security requirements, we as a country can feel proud of this aspect of our security considerations. We have done well. And, the technology, reliability, I think the scientists have done an amazing job.
Sir, you sat on the chair at the helm and you've seen all the three services. You've seen the integration, right? All the three services. How do you see that we've progressed from maybe there was some kind of a dependency potential to us being Aatma nirbhar and creating a place for ourselves on the international diaspora? You must have seen this. How was this growth happening?
These are all hand in hand. Our security considerations haven't come down, they have only increased. But it is a team which is moving, the economy is moving, the armed forces are moving. So at a particular time, we were importing. When you import military technology, military platforms, you willy-nilly surrender a lot of your independence and you become dependent. That is one aspect. Second aspect is you are putting out a lot of your capital outside. Your money which should go to your people is going outside. In my view, Atmanirbhar Bharat is the only way we can progress forward. We have to not only make arms and ammunition, we have to export them. Our industry has to come in a big way. Like today you have Lockheed and Raytheon, everybody. We should have those people. That revenue will come to us. But this is a gradual process. Overnight it cannot happen. You only become rich gradually. Richness cannot, and when I say richness, it is the overall, whether it is in military infrastructure, whether it is economy, everything put together. So we are there. And this is a tough decision. But when push comes to shove, this is the only way a country moves forward. And I think we are making a big difference. A lot of changes are coming. And Atmanirbhar is being promoted in a big way. I'm sure it will hold us in good stead in the coming years. I've got no doubts.
Sir, how is the sea leg of the nuclear triad coming up?
Sea leg of the nuclear triad, as I just mentioned, Nikhil, all three components of the triad have been given due impetus. And the sea leg is coming up very well. It's a very, I would say, demanding frontier where you got to have lots of technology, lots of manufacturing capabilities, all those things. And similarly, as I said, you see our weapons, sensors, platforms. See, while everything may not be put in the public domain, but when the firing takes place, it's in public domain. See the success rate which we have. It is a mute testimony of where we have reached. So I repeat and again, as Indians, we can be proud of a nuclear deterrence and where we reached.
So the next you were CNC South, sir, Commander-in-Chief, Southern Naval Command, which is the training command of the Navy. Sir, what's the role and responsibility of the training command in the Navy? And what was your vision for us to become the most resilient, power-packed, tech-savvy force? Because the entire manpower, not only the officers, but also the sailors, the entire training, that's the responsibility of the training command. So, yes, sir, please.
SNC's training establishments are spread across the length and breadth of the country. It was in the 80s, because the type of technology which was being inducted, it was thought that let's give more focus to training. So though the headquarters is located in Cochin, a training command was created, and with the operational roles going only with the Western Naval Command and Eastern Naval Command. That has actually put a lot of focus, because what happens is, if one establishment is doing a particular thing, the good things are picked up and given to somebody else, and it becomes a little competitive. We are operating state-of-the-art platforms, ships, submarine, aircraft, autonomous, I would say, platforms. They are all cost-intensive, technology-intensive. Now, to exploit them, to maintain them, you got to have high level of knowledge, professional knowledge about that subject. And we have to, on one hand, keep pace with the technology which is coming. Because today it is technology age, technology warfare, AI, space, cyber. Everything, it is technology. So before technology comes, our basic levels, datum levels have to reach there. If I am going to command INS Viraat, I go through a small capsule. If I do not know what the capabilities and limitations of the propulsion machinery are, or power generation are, or of weapon sensors are, or of the aircraft which I am going to operate, I cannot exploit them. Right from the commanding officer to the lowest man, he must know, like for example on a submarine, even how to operate your toilet, the guy has to be trained because it can lead to a mishap. So training is very important. That's why, this good old dictum, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. It's a very correct thing. War over here is even when you are operating platforms at sea. War, ultimately we are preparing all for that war. When we have to make the ultimate sacrifice, we have to prepare that. That dimension or that, I would say, nuance can never be lost sight of. Can never be lost sight of. Because that sets the threshold till where we are going to train. If I am going to give my life tomorrow, if I am going to tell my subordinates to give life, I must equip them well. When they go without fear. They go fully confident. And confidence only comes out of knowledge. Confidence only comes out of knowledge. And without confidence, even a good force cannot perform. Mm-hmm. And this confidence must be given to each and every individual that I know what is my job. And if I know what my job is, I will operate that system competently to its optimal thing. If I do not know how to do the maintenance or how to perform the particular thing, how to do the routines, how to repair it, neither can I exploit it. It is only because of this knowledge, you see our platforms. We run it for far greater areas than what they are specified. We have taken weapons from other countries. We have extended their ranges. We have extended their, like for example, we load their height of missile. It have come from somewhere else. But by sheer knowledge, we have done this. And it is because of this knowledge base which we impart. There's a huge demand on the Navy to train foreign trainees. We are getting, particularly in the IOR region, where the Indian Navy is a net security provider. We are looked up to for providing quality training. Unfortunately, our own capacity is so much, we really cannot this thing. But in times to come, I'm sure, we will rise up to this requirement also. And we will be able to provide quality training to our friendly foreign countries.
So could you please throw a little more deeper light on how leaders are groomed in the Navy? The officers, right from the birth and the different stages.
That's a very, I would say, interesting question, Nikhil. I am a firm believer. Leaders are born, that's one aspect. I am a firm believer leaders are made. Leaders are created. And like as we said, we come from all strata of society. Like when I came to the Navy, if you would have put me in front of, say, a high-level dignitary, I may not be able to speak also. But it is a service which grooms you. This is why grooming comes. One is technical training, hands-on training, learning tactics, learning war fighting. That is one aspect. But grooming, giving yourself the confidence that I can hold my sway where I am. And this is where, in today's society, where social media really sways us, sways the young mind. Today, the parents are regulated, the children do not get to the track which the parents want. But when we come to the armed forces, we have got that opportunity. That is what I was saying initially, the personalities which we shape, they may be in uniform, out of uniform. They may be in our world, they may be in corporate world. Once they are there, they are dependent, they will pick up the knowledge. Knowledge is not difficult. If one has got the ability to work hard, one has the ability to honesty of purpose, you will reach everywhere. There's no problem on that. So, leadership, like we have got the C labs. You go and talk leadership. You discuss leadership. What you call, like that Amitabh Bachchan saying, I can talk English, speak English. So you have to talk leadership like that. You have to be ingrained into it. Like if you see on a TV advertisement saying that don't have a particular brand of oil, so you automatically stop having after some time. So similarly, we have to be talking those subjects. Like in C labs or in this thing, we talk about behavioral changes. We talk about leadership. We talk about being ethicals. We talk about having moral values. There will be temptations. But if you are drilled on that, you will think. And as I said, we are part of the society. What makes the news is a small component which errs on the wrong side. But by and large, my experience has been the man in uniform does imbibe a lot of virtues. And we can all be proud of. And it is systematic. You teach them the correct value. I do not know, I'm coming from a raw home. So you have to say, listen, discipline is important. If a function is at 7 o'clock, you should reach at 7 o'clock. So these are the things which you got to keep instilling, keep drilling. Like what do you do in drill? Repeat the same thing 20 times so that it becomes a voluntary response from your mind. So we bring in that voluntary response towards the qualities which we presume should be a component of a leader's personality. And the leader is not only the top guy. Leader could be even a junior sailor who's handling 5 people. He's also a leader. He's also got the same amount of responsibility. He also feels the same amount of pride which a captain speaks in speaking to the ship's company. So we have to groom, and the whole team has to think that we are in a profession where honor, dignity should be with us. It doesn't take away any of your enjoyment. It doesn't take away any of your frills. You can do all that, but you can still be honored, dignified, above board. ये करना है.
Coming to the most interesting part, sir, the last appointment where you swallowed the anchor, you were CNC, Western Naval Command. मैं audience को ये बता दूँ कि Western Naval Command is the premier operational command, headquartered at Bombay, which also houses the Western Fleet, the sword arm of the Indian Navy, and the Commodore commanding submarines. The Submarines West also is based out of there. And the Naval Dockyard, Bombay, Nausena Medal Gallantry. Sir, that was your home turf, I would say, from my point of view, if I am looking as a young officer, because you were the Western Fleet Commander also. How was this journey, sir, as a Fleet Commander to coming into the last appointment of your career, the CNC of Western Naval Command?
Nikhil, the Fleet Commander time, I had the opportunity to sail right up to Portsmouth, UK. And when we sailed, we exercised with the French Navy, with the Royal Navy, and PASEX with the other navies, including the Italian Navy. So we operated with most of the navies. It was quite a change from the other colonial era when the British used to come to India. This was maybe one of the first time when 3-4 ships of Indian Navy were going there. So in fact, there were a lot of discussion on this, that the things are in a different, stature today, where Indian Navy is going there. So we were well respected for our ops capabilities, well respected. The fact that we could sustain it was a 3 months overseas deployment. we could sustain operationally and exercise with every navy down the line, whether it is the aircraft, whether it is helicopters, or whether it's the ships. So we did all exercise, ASW, whatever, every sort of exercise we did. See, ultimately, it is a certification of what our capabilities are. Whether you have gunfire, gun shoots, reliability, all those things are, in 3 months you cannot hide it. There's no dockyard which is coming with you. You're doing all by yourself. And I remember we came to the harbor of Brest. And before we were to, from there we were to sail out and operate with the French Navy. The Seclant, who is the senior most 3-star, I was a 2-star, he was a 3-star. So he came on board. The flagship was the third ship, I think. Third ship or something, or fourth ship. I don't recollect. So he passed, he saw all the ships. So then when he came, first thing he says, Admiral, it doesn't look you are coming after 1 or 2 months passage. And sea was rough. Sea was rough. So your ships are looking so good. Then he said, if you don't mind, can I send him a commanding officers? All the commanding officers, all the officers came and visited our ship to see how a ship has to be kept in long deployments. And French Navy and us, we have got very good relationship. French Navy is a very professional Navy, very professional Navy. And it was a big honor for this thing. And it gave a big boost to the men also. This shows, that is the reason when I was mentioning you, a platform which is designed for 30 years, we run it for 40 years, 35 years. And without degrading its op capabilities. So that was the strength which we did. So that was the fleet commander's time. And we've got a huge responsibility on the Western seaboard, whether it is in all 3 dimensions, as well as asymmetric warfare. And asymmetric warfare after 2611 has also taken a lot of demand. So the assets are even piracy, right up to the Gulf of Aden. Hormuz, we are patrolling there. So we have got a lot of, after I've retired, things have increased far greater. This I'm talking of my time. So I might be little dated on that aspect. But we match them up. We live up to the expectation. We never fall short of doing our responsible task due to lack of maintenance or due to lack of non-availability of huge number of assets. We make to it. We make to it. So as a Western Naval Command, we definitely everybody takes the job. It's a pride to see how that command functions. Right from Gujarat, Okha and everybody down below, we've got the whole operational capabilities ready. Goa is there, full aviation setup, maintaining and operating all the state-of-the-art equipment. So as a Navy, I think on the Western seaboard, now even Eastern seaboard is equally come up. Eastern seaboard, because we have to be right up to the Malacca and towards this side. Our responsibility has increased, but so are our platforms, so are our capabilities. But I think our eyes and ears reach wherever we are required to reach.
So there was a stage in the Navy where we saw a lot of accidents and incidents, which led to a lot of upheaval, and it shook the top echelons of the Navy. In your opinion, how have we recovered from all these incidents, the resilience shown by all the officers and all ranks and all men?
There was a period, I agree with you. But I must say, accidents and mishaps are a part of a seagoing Navy. There is no escape to that. They will happen because sitting in a room, the desks won't collide. Desks can't be subject to damage. It is only at sea when activity takes place. These things will take place. We need to know the right from the wrong. We need to stand by our colleagues if their actions were correct. Yes, today social media are very active tools. information doesn't stay hidden. It is the media's job to highlight things. It's our job to prevent accidents and mishaps taking place. But still, sometimes what happens, with the best of intentions, things do not happen the way they should be. That is where I feel we need to have broad shoulders. We need to have broad shoulders, stand by our colleagues, face the onslaught, whatever is coming, because sometimes you may not be able to reach and explain what has happened. Because news is what it sells. They're not interested in knowing what actually happens or what corrective measures we do. So, bold leadership has to be there, and we cannot really scare the leaders of tomorrow.
So let's touch upon one thing, sir. The immediate support vessel squadrons, they were raised primarily to take care of the oil field exploration areas on the western seaboard. And God has been kind, luck played its role that I have commanded the squadron. I was a senior officer, ISVs West. 3 squadrons, 17 officers, 102 men. And 3 squadron commanders, 1 is a senior officer. There was an incident on a boat, tango boat, where the commanding officer had shot at sea, shot at a fisherman. What do you have to say about it, sir?
Oh, okay. Well, what had happened was, I think these boats were patrolling off the offshore rigs, and this particular vessel had fired and it hit a fisherman. So naturally there was lot of furor. Media, even in the local legislative assembly, lot of things, this thing. We did a thorough analysis. A lot of pressure was coming. Fine, I said, okay, we'll analyze what happened. You go to see these things will happen. And without doubt, my conclusion was that this commanding officer was right. See what had happened, we had put those boats there because from the rigs, things were being pilfered by these boats, whether it is diesel or anything. And secondly, asymmetric warfare post 2611 had become a concern. So when we found out that this particular fishing boat had no marking, no insignia, no flag, so no way it could be identified whether it's us. And when you are on a security patrol, you have to be sure about everybody. You cannot allow even one boat to come in. So he tried to thwart that boat. The boat, I do not know how they were carrying stones. So he started stone pelting on this boat. So that is the time this young officer fired for effect. He did not fire them. This is a view which I got from the fishermen also. The bullet went and ricocheted and hit this fisherman. We treated the fisherman. End of the day, he's our colleague, our countryman. We gave him the best of treatment in Ashwini, and we gave him some compensation also. Now, my dilemma was immaterial of the onslaught which was coming. This young officer or the people who are there would be the leaders of tomorrow. What message do I send them? I knew in my analysis the officers was correct. So I decided to do nothing to the officer. In fact, I called all the officers and gave them the pat that you guys have done a good job. Future leaders have to be, bold. They must be expected to be bold, and with experience they should become more prudent, but they should be bold. They have to perform without any fears of consequences. And for that, the system has to be such. See, today we are living in a day and age where we cannot be nonchalant and say, I dismiss whatever is coming from outside. At the same time, we cannot be letting the side down. We have to promote chivalrous leaders, professional leaders, prudent leaders who are not worried about the consequences. The so-called zero-error syndrome, we cannot allow it to seep. Things will go wrong. things will go wrong. But as a senior leader, we must have the maturity to analyze where the mistake was or why this happening occurred, and at the same time hold the hand of the team that you go and perform, the Navy will stand by you. That message has to be very good. As long as intentions are honorable, actions are prudent, my view is the Navy will stand by you.
Sir, let's come to the second Gallantry Award. After mentioning dispatchers, I think you were awarded NM Gallantry during your first command. Can you please narrate the incident?
What had happened was, I was commanding, I had just commissioned INS Nishank in Black Sea Poti. So we were to do 1 or 2 sorties before we were to set on the maiden passage back home. During the acceptance trials, there were certain difficulties which we highlighted. So it was the very first sortie, very first command of mine. We went out to sea in Black Sea. What had happened was we were doing, I think, about 29, 30 knots. So there was a huge explosion in the aft portion of the ship. So immediately I gave the order to crash stop all engines. Actually, what had happened was, from the gas turbine, which was doing about 30 knots, there, where the exhaust comes out, there was a compensator that parted. So that 500, 600 degrees temperature, which was running at 30 knots, that came into the engine room. So as a consequence of this, all the wiring in the after engine room got burnt. All the aluminum fittings which were there, they all melted. So when we crash stopped, then I went down. I couldn't, smoke was billowing from all sides. I went to the quarterdeck. So quarterdeck, you couldn't stand. It was so hot. So, and temperature was maybe 20, 18, 19, 20, we were in winter uniforms. So, and the Russian crew was also there. The Russian crew which had handed over to us, they were also there. So, they recommended that we abandon ship. And even one of our boys, because life rafts were in the aft, that's how they were there. Because right on top of the engine room, since we were supposed to sail for the maiden passage, were about maybe 5,000-6,000 rounds of AK-230, 630 ammunition, live, which we were to bring from there. And behind that is a huge tank for fuel. So they knew the ship better than us. So they were saying that it can lead to this thing. So one of the boys tried to pull the laugh raft. So I gave it to him in my own language, vernacular, what I could. And I said, we are not abandoning. If you want to abandon, you can abandon. So finally, we saved the ship. We came back. There was a huge loss. Virtually the whole aft engine room had to be done, including the wiring, because everything had melted. Everything had melted. So there was a huge board of inquiry. Initially, I came under, young lieutenant commander, came under a lot of flack for not being able to, do things. Yeah. One took it in the stride, but, that time one starts thinking, yes, that's the end of the career, so be it. So, but we fought the board of inquiry. It lasted several weeks. In the end, we convinced the Russians that it was not the Indian crew mistake, it was their mistake. And then the Russian Admiral admitted that. He wrote a letter to our CNS. And in fact, they modified the design, because this oil used to come into that place because of the reduction gear fuel. So they changed the design. And apparently they had 1 or 2 fires before also, which were minor. So in the end, we made, it was accepted by the Russians that it was their design fault, it was their mistake, and they paid for it. The ship could have, if we wouldn't have crash stopped, things would have been different. If we would have let the GT run for even 2 minutes more, that would have been disastrous. Because it is right underneath. I don't know whether you served on
Yeah, I served on
So this is right underneath.
Yes.
Right underneath. So, and that we were doing 30 knots, 29, 30 knots we were doing. So, high level of this thing. So, ultimately they paid, then we went to Kerch in Ukraine where the present war is going on. We spent about 3 months, 3-4 months, maybe 4.5 months to repair the ship. So, this was all happening in where the present war is going on.
Sir, with senior roles comes big responsibilities. So how do higher echelons of the organization think and you help embrace the newer ways of thinking? Like as a young lieutenant, lieutenant commander, I'm seeing CNC कैसे सोचता होगा, CNS कैसे सोचते होंगे. They also have some people who they must be answerable to. So how do these higher echelons they think? And
there's, I think the more higher you go, you have to, which one has learned from the seniors which I served with. I think our senior leadership is, I would say, there's plenty to learn from them. It is lead from the front, lead by example. It is not just a buzzword, you are being observed, you are being emulated. So, first is moral conduct. Moral conduct is very important. Morally, I have to be seen to be upright. I should not only be upright, I have to be seen to be upright. There will be, as I said earlier, where the weakness gets the better of you. It has to be imbibed in you. No, it is not going to be done. I am not going to succumb to this. And the other aspect is, besides all what we talked, you got to be very compassionate about your team. You have to be very concerned about them. I have always followed the dictum that work hard, play harder. Each individual is leading a life set. We will deliver for the Navy what it requires, but we cannot keep the foot on the accelerator at all time. That is not required. What the nation expects of us, we are in a position, capability-wise, competence-wise, to deliver. Then comes the second aspect, the compassion. Today's society is very fragile. Domestically, everybody has a lot of problems. So as a senior leader, it is your karmic duty to be involved with your team. It could be a child, it could be a parent, it could be anything. So that is where you got to be realistic, hands-on, to the ground. For example, in Bombay, housing is a big problem, which leads to a lot of issues within the sailors. So while I can ask my team to work 26 hours a day, but it is essential that where the shoe pinches them, I feel that. Till that time, I do not feel that, I will not be a successful leader. I can be a leader by virtue of my stars which I wear. But that leadership does not carry today. It's a karmic duty. Karmic duty is you have been entrusted of assets, manpower, and the responsibility to safeguard the maritime responsibilities of India. We should do it with 101% honesty. At the same time, it is your karmic duty to see that your team also goes back rewarded, satisfied, gratified when they go back home. So I have to be very careful of that. Particularly for me, it's a very important aspect.
Sir, how do you train the worst and make them the best? You have seen so many in your life, sir.
To put it crisply, motivation, inspiration, boosting confidence, and most importantly, having patience to do all this. See, what happens is, all of us are not endowed with all virtues or all capabilities. My viewpoint is, if you motivate a person, if you inspire him. Don't rub his nose. Don't bruise his ego. And then you boost his confidence by making up his shortcomings. That is one. Second is, we run in teams. Everybody has a shortcoming. Everybody has a strength. Use an individual strength and try to make good his weaknesses. I have in my lifetime never told anybody that I want to remove him because he's not good. My view is, give me anybody, I'll make him a derby horse. And I have had so many incidences where, there were a lot of apprehensions about the individuals. I said, no, we'll carry on with him.
So on a lighter note, if I were to ask, sir, what does the Admiral do these days in his free time?
In my free time, I respond to my team leader, my wife. So whatever she says, I do that. And we go and visit our son and our grandson, spend time with them, play with them, grandson, son, daughter-in-law, all are there. So we talk to them regularly. And other thing is go and lose money in golf. Because I play with people who are much better players than me, they take a lot of money out of me. So play that. But by and large, I would say life has been blessed. And I would end by saying that I was proud to be part of a Navy which is keeping pace in consonance with the growth of a country. I was proud to be a part of the Navy which a Viksit Bharat of tomorrow requires. And I am sure we will be able to deliver all on the maritime front. We will not be found wanting. So one feels proud that one was a part of that team. And the last word I would say to the young boys and girls outside. Take a challenge in the Navy, join it, you will not regret it. I am yet to see anybody, whether it's a sailor, whether it's an officer, whether it's a short service officer, who, if you ask them, there are a lot of us leave when the time comes, no, I want to leave, I want to make more money, I want to do this. But there's nobody I've met who says, I do not want to join back the Navy. Yeah. So there must be some nuance to it. It is not because I'm saying. I can easily say that I've got a good higher, rising to the higher rank, I can say that. So everybody will tell me, listen, you went there, so you are very happy. But I am talking of the people who left early with ambitions in their ears. They made success. They've been very successful outside. But thoda sa kharocho, they want to come back to the Navy. So do I. So that is what. Here's a big example. Yeah. You also want to come back to the Navy. Yeah. So we are blessed to have a force like this. We are blessed to have the armed forces like this. All the three services. Why I'm saying Navy is because I am a naval officer.
I can say this with conviction, sir. As a young lieutenant, when I used to see you in the command, I'm very fortunate to have been sitting across, with you across the table and doing this podcast with you for XYZ reasons. I have seen you from 5 feet when you were the CNC and we were bidding adieu to you on P-23 ship, and you had said that thing, make a signal to Matang, she looks as beautiful as she was, make a signal from CNC. And I used to tell my coastmates and my friends and the other HODs in the squadron, yeah, look at him, the way he walks and the way he walks the talk. Officer banna hai to aise banna hai.
Thank you.
This is how it was for us, for all of us, sir. Thank you so much for gracing the occasion, sir. You made that, you took that call of coming all the way to the studio here in Bangalore, and it is a matter of supreme honor and pride for the entire team of Roger That with NKC to do this podcast with you. I'm sure the audience must have taken the most of it. And this is, I would say, for the entire country. At least that 70 crore people in India who belong to the age group 16 and a half to 40. It's for them to understand what exactly is the Navy and what do we guys do and what the leaders are. Thank you so much once again, sir. Shano Varuna, Jai Hind. Do like, share, subscribe my channel. And this show has been sponsored by Olive Planet. Do check out their gear. Do check out their website. They make really good premium gear. And let me tell you one thing. They were the ones who supplied to Uri the Surgical Strikes movie. So yeah.